Good afternoon, guys. What is going on? Hope everyone's having a great day. Friday, so it's the weekend. Oh, feels so good to be the weekend. So hoping to get a lot done over the next couple days, especially on old first gen over here. Weather report. We haven't done a weather report in quite some time. There is definitely a storm coming. It doesn't look that bad on here, but it's definitely feels like rain. Looked at the weather. It's definitely going to rain. So we're going to try and get a little bit of work done on the first gen here before it happens to downpour on us like it usually does. So first, we did make a couple changes yesterday when you guys weren't here. As you can see, we got another shelving unit. So I was in the garage, I'm like, we need to kind of figure out a better way to get some more space here. And I realized I love this knack box. It was great. I actually used this at work at one point, locked up the tools when I wasn't there. That way they didn't go walking, as most of you guys know who work in a shop. Tools happen to get legs when things aren't kind of locked down. So the plan is to actually sell the knack box. Maybe some of you guys want this thing. Model 60 Job Master here. But we're gonna get rid of the knack box. We don't really have a need for it. This is great for locking, and I may need it in the future, but at this point, don't have room for it to even store it. So what is making me feel a whole lot better about this is, and maybe this will help you guys when you're planning your garage or storage or something like that, but the space that this was not using is above it. I couldn't put anything above this. I could do shelving, but at the same time, this space upwards is key. Space upwards is key. That's the whole point here. So when I was in here, I was fumbling around trying to get to the stuff. It had sliding, moving things, and it was just a pain. Now everything is clearly out, clearly displayed. I can grab things much easier and put things back much easier, as opposed to fumbling around in there. Brings me to my next point. We got some new products here. So these are two different style transmission cross member mounts that we may use. They're a little bit different, still kind of the same style. This one's from Energy Suspension, and this one is from, I believe it's just, this is Bush, I don't even know, High Performance Components. This is where it's shipped from. Oh, polyurethane motion control. I'll put the links down below. You guys can check them out. Maybe this will help you guys out with some of your Cummins swaps projects. But this one kind of has a nice edge there that kind of sits in the drilled out metal. You guys will see, I'll explain these more when we get to the cross member part, hopefully this weekend. Got some new U-bolts, which you can see are factory ones, how long they were. Or I should say how short they were. These are much longer. The reason why we need the additional length is to actually make it through this beefy bottom side that clamps the axle down to the leaf pack that Caltracs give you. So that is where we are at. We are going to get these Caltracs in here very shortly. And also got some new top plates for them as well. I'll show you the old ones and why I kind of got new top plates as well. These were the factory top plates. As you can see, they do have quite a bit of wear on them. So they probably could be reused, no problem, but I was getting the new U-bolts, and he said, you know, he asked me if I wanted them. They're like 10 bucks a piece, so of course I, went ahead and got them. So for 10 bucks a piece, not really worth questioning. As you guys can see, I did start to drive this first bushing into the front. As a couple of you guys commented, just use a ball joint press, and it is actually working very well. Shocking how getting something perfectly straight on either end, it's easy, it goes in. So we're gonna finish up putting these in on both sides. Then we can put our little pin adapters, slide that up, get that bolted in. Then we're pretty much ready to slide this new rear under. Now I do want to get some stuff painted on it, but with the rain, we'll see. We're just gonna keep moving. We're gonna stop talking and keep moving. Alrighty, so I just wanted to give you just a quick little explanation on the Caltracs from Calvert Racing, if you guys don't know exactly somewhat how they kind of sort of work. So we got our solid bushing pressed in here where a rubber bushing would normally be. Next up, they give you this pin. And what this pin is, this pin actually slides inside of that. And what you can see here is that this pin is actually a little oversized from the overall width of the actual solid bushing. Now what that does is then it gives it room for our brackets here to ride on that. So if I take this out, slide our bracketry over the axle here, or I'm sorry, the leaf, kind of like so. So here you can kind of see exactly why they make that inside pin a little oversized, so that holds the edges of our basically our main bracket here, if you want to call it. I don't have proper terminology for all this. So then this all goes right back up in the perch and bolted through there. Now basically the way these are designed, as you can see they do have a little bit of movement here, is the way you set them up is once you get the brackets on the bottom of the axle here, if your pinion angle when you accelerate wants to kind of go like this, that ends up pushing that bar forward into this pivot point and then preloading right on top of the leaf right here. So they're the ones with the mathematical science, engineering, yada yada yada. So in leaf spring racing, these are meant for, you know, better overall starts, launches, whatever you want to call them. So that's why we decided to go with these. That's kind of how they work versus a more conventional ladder bar, traction bar style that just go from one solid point up to the frame. These are actually preloading the leaves in a certain way, I guess you would say. You can kind of see on this side's actually already done. You can see even with this bolt fully tightened all the way, these do still have free play so that this can bottom out on the top of the leaf here. The way they work, and you can see, is when you tighten this bolt down, you can see it's tightening against that inside one, not against the overall, you know, bracketry here. So these still move completely free, which is nice. So overall, very well designed kit. Everything's going together somewhat smoothly, so we're just gonna keep moving on and get the other side completely done. And there we have it. Both sides done and tight. So leaves are back in, leaves are tight, everything on those. Actually, forgot I gotta retighten those up. I loosened those at one point. Everything is pretty much ready to go. The axle is ready to come out, minus just taking this one last brake line off. The whole reason that the rear hasn't even been exited completely is just because of, I didn't want the brake fluid to go all over the place, try to cap that line. I was like, I might as well just wait till the very end. So I think we are at the point when it comes time to take that one out, swap that one in. I did pick up as well our new shock tabs to weld on the new axle, seeing that we cleaned those completely off. I have modified them to fit the 4-inch axle. These are actually made for 3.5. I know I could have probably made these and it would have taken me quite a while. So in time's sake, we got these instead. These are for 3.5. They actually don't make, I searched for a while, actual tabs like this in the right hole size for a 4-inch axle. I couldn't find any, so we ordered 3.5s. All we had to do is modify them slightly and we'll be good to go. Guys, let me catch you up quick here. So we are officially done in the cab with the transmission shifter combination. Got everything squared away inside here on the handle. Everything is done. All the bolts are tight underneath, and we do have the cable routed down into the transmission, which I will show you guys. So very pleased, very happy with the way everything came out. everything looks very, very good in my opinion. So down below here, you can see that we did actually get some flat fender washers as well, stacked on top of our regular washers just to give it some additional support. So that's good. You can kind of see where the cable comes through down underneath here, kind of loops around, and then comes into our bracket here on the side. So it's pretty straight shot, really not that bad, just has to kind of loop around, but perfect length, shouldn't be too bad. Right now what we are going to do, before we do anything with that, is actually take this off, which we were supposed to do the other night. We're going to get ready to paint this, that way that doesn't rust like it is starting to already do just sitting outside. So I'm going to undo that. We actually got a measurement for our cross member here of 37 inches. We are going to end up doing that, getting that ready for when the rear is in. We can kind of see, match the angle, and get everything made. Either we're going to use this mount, the factory common rail style mount, if we need to gain a little bit more angle, or if it needs to drop down a little bit, we're going to use our energy suspension, the bushings that I showed you a little earlier. So that is where we were at, boys. Ow! And Greg just whacked his head. Ow. Alrighty, so new cross member piece is cut. Saw did a fantastic job as usual. So got this cut. What I'll probably end up doing, if and when everything is done and drilled and test fit, we'll pull it all back apart, unbolt everything, maybe try and cap these edges a little bit, make it look a little bit nicer, maybe even put a little angle cut, little slash cut on there. Once we get everything test fitted, we'll make it all nice, paint it all up. Obviously very rough right now. The other thing, like I mentioned, we are going to be changing the brake hoses on this. This one's got a little cut in it. That line actually snapped as we were working with this. Through my calling around and trying to look for pre-bent hoses, the dealer nonetheless actually had the driver's side, if you will, line actually not in stock, but could get it the next day. And this was only like 50 bucks, which granted, yes, I know, seems like a lot for this little bit of piece, but the time it's going to save me and the ease it's going to save me, it's already pre-done, already pre-bent to go right in like that, like so, and it's nice. It's all one piece. So we got this one. Unfortunately, the other side is discontinued. What I'm actually going to end up doing is, the hard line is actually still good. I'm going to cut it, reflare it, and then adapt to a new brake hose. I got one new brake hose, but the line is actually pretty good. This, the other side, the hard line was bad. So got those. I'm actually going to change the brakes on them as well. Probably once it gets under the truck, gets all test fitted, we'll do that last. So take a look at this. I don't want to point it right at you because you might die. Take a look at this Milwaukee light that I picked up that uses the same little batteries as some of the ratcheting stuff that I use. Take a look at this. This thing is serious. I'm pretty impressed. It's like, they said it's like 1200 lumens. All right, so look underneath here. I'll set you guys up where you were before, so you can take a look. See here. It's good. It's good. And seeing that the GREGA garage works in the dark, this is definitely a necessity. Maybe I'll put this, maybe I'll try and put a link to this in the bio as well. This Milwaukee light is seriously awesome. I mean, are we even really done with the day if we don't play with the shifter? I mean, now that it's solid. Alrighty guys, the night is still not over yet. We have a big trip planned in the morning. I'm sure most of you can guess, but we do need to hook the tow rig up to the trailer. like I mentioned, first stop tomorrow morning is getting this thing gone. The POS Dodge is gone tomorrow. It is finally gone. You will never ever see it again. So that's the end conclusion of tonight. We did get quite a bit done. I mean, it may not seem like a lot, but I'm pretty satisfied with the progress thus far, setting ourselves up good for tomorrow. Get that cross member done, get the new rear end, get the shocks kind of figured out. The one thing I did, I don't know if I mentioned it yet or not, but the factory shocks, the eye holes, are a little bit different from the mounts that I have. I'm thinking about going to a different shock regardless, so there's some figuring out that I kind of have to do there, but nonetheless, it should be back. I say should, but back on the ground tomorrow on the four wheels. We'll put the cool wheels back on it, take the grandpa wheels back off, and just keep pushing. We still got to put gauges in the thing. There's still quite a bit of things that we got to do. We still got to turn the pump up. We still have lots of burnouts and testing to do before we send this thing down the track. But that is going to wrap up this video. Make sure you guys give it a big thumbs up. I will see you guys tomorrow. See you.